Tom continued to cry loudly and desperately plead for help. My sister-in-law, Lily, soothed him, and when he calmed down, Tom finally told us why he was crying. "Mommy, please save Grandma." "Okay, I will. But from whom shall I save Grandma?" "From the devil." "Huh?" If you lie, the devil will take you away, right? Because Grandma lied. So please help her and protect her from the devil." When Tom finished saying this, he burst into tears and clung to Lily. Then, all at once, all our eyes turned to my mother-in-law, Anna. My name is Caitlin. I have been married to my husband, John, for 6 months, and we are leading a reasonably peaceful life. We are newlyweds, and our married lifestyle is fun, but there is just one problem. And that is, it's because of my mother-in-law, Anna. My husband and I went to college together and have known each other since then. He came from a rural area into the city, but he didn't go back to his parents very often. I thought people would usually go back to his parents' place during summer holidays or other long holidays, but this was not the case with John. When I casually asked John the reason, he told me that he didn't really have a good relationship with his mother. He said that ever since he could remember, he didn't really like how his mother behaved sometimes. If I remember correctly, John told me that it was her leadership style that he didn't like about his own mother. Until middle school, there are many school events where parents meet each other. In such situations like that, Anna was always at the center of the circle. And she loved to gossip around with other people, mostly in a negative way. She would make negative comments about people saying things like, "I don't agree with it, but..." My husband told me that he hated that and was disgusted by it. In addition to that, once Anna catches John's attention, she would start backstabbing and complaining about people and about anything. My husband didn't like hearing her backstabbing people and her complaints, so he didn't go home to his parents' place much anymore. Before we got married, I had just listened to stories from John about Anna and thought that maybe John didn't like to get too involved in conversations like we women do. But when I first met her to greet them before I got married to John, I finally understood what my husband was talking about. "You two met in college, right?" "Yes, that's right." "It's unusual for a girl like you to be a science major." "Well, yes, you're right. There were only 4 of us girls in our department, including me." "Oh, is that so? When I was in college, I majored in liberal arts, and there were a lot of girls who were all pretty and glamorous. I guess a lot of popular girls tend to be in liberal arts." "Oh, maybe you're right. Many of the girls in the liberal arts are very cute and fashionable. But, on the other hand, girls who majors in science wear jeans and shirts, right? I wonder if some of them are tomboys." "Wow, you know pretty well. I'm actually that type, you know." I thought I was having a good conversation with Anna, but for some reason I felt somewhat strange.
"That's enough of that talk, then."
Okay.
"I wasn't saying to you, Caitlin. I was saying to my mother."
"Oh, what? Did I say something wrong?" My husband looked annoyed at Anna, but Anna looked normal, as if she didn't say anything wrong. At the time, I had no idea what was wrong with the conversation I just had with Anna. But then, my husband apologized to me on the way home and explained to me, and that was when I understood everything.
"I'm sorry about my mother."
"Huh? Why?"
"Well, you see, she was always one-upping you."
"What? When?"
"When you both were talking about women in liberal arts and science." "Well, it's not only that, but yeah."
"Oh, come to think of it, I did feel somewhat off then, but I didn't exactly really know what it was. But I really didn't think she was one-upping me."
"That's what I love about you, Caitlin. I just want you to know that I don't want my mother to nag at you too. Mother was saying women in liberal arts equals glamorous and women in science equals tomboy, but by saying that, she was implying something else. Women in liberal arts are fashionable, but women in science are lame, is what I think she was trying to say." But to me, if women in science are tomboys, I think that they are graceful.
Oh, you're right. Wow, so she was indirectly saying that I was lame, huh? I really wasn't thinking that deeply, you know. But now I know. So this is what you were talking about, John, when you said you didn't like that part about her, huh? From now on, I'm going to just let it all slide and shrug them off before Anna starts running her engine to one-up me. Like that, the only element of my anxiety in our marriage was Anna. My husband hasn't been back home much since before he was married, and he himself wants to keep his distance from his mother. So, in the end, we decided to get married, thinking that it would be fine. After the marriage, my husband and I have not returned to his parents' place. And even after 6 months, we still haven't visited over, and there hasn't been any major issues. The only problem is that Anna calls us, and every phone call I have with her is really long. She calls me and tells me many gossips about her neighbors. And everything she says about her neighbors are all negative. There are not that many bad people in the world, but she talks as if she is surrounded by really bad people. And I am not able to agree with everything she says. So, I try not to listen to what she says, and I can only reply as I see to her. I would always receive such calls from her twice a week. Each call lasts about 2 hours or so. I have been listening to everything that she has to say that I don't agree with her about at all for hours on end, and to be honest, I was getting a little depressed.
You look like you're exhausted recently. Are you okay?
My husband says while looking at me. Yeah, I'm okay.
You sure? Did something happen? You should talk to me about everything, you know?
Everything?
Yeah, everything. We're married, Caitlin.
When I told my husband what had happened, he immediately apologized to me.
I'm so sorry for not realizing about this.
It's not your fault, honey.
No, it is my responsibility. I really had no idea that my mother was calling you. I'm really sorry. I'll talk to my mother about it, so from now on, you can just ignore the calls you get from my mother. You can even set your phone to block her calls, okay?
Even though my husband said that, I didn't set my phone to block Anna's calls. But my husband was able to tell his mother to stop calling me, and after that, Anna did not call me anymore. It was then that I received a call from my sister-in-law, Lily, informing me of the birth of her second baby. It was the first visit home to my in-laws since our marriage, but my husband was not at all enthusiastic from the start.
Would it be wrong to just send them a gift or something?
Well, that's a difficult question, isn't it? I think that would be fine, but from Lily's point of view, I think she would want us to celebrate with them, wouldn't she? What was it like when Tom was born? Tom was Lily's first baby, and he was turning 4 this year.
We all got together that time, too.
Oh, I see. Then maybe we should celebrate together in that way.
You're right.
My husband didn't want to go back to his parents' house as much as possible, but this was for the sake of his newborn nephew. My husband also told himself the same thing and decided to join the celebration. When we headed to my in-laws' house, we saw them being all over Lily's second baby. Everyone was celebrating in the living room. I helped around the house with Anna since Lily just got out from the clinic after giving birth to the baby. We set out the dishes and enjoyed the meal together. After finishing the meal, the whole family would gather around the newborn baby again. I carried the dishes to the sink while watching the family gather around the newborn baby. My husband also followed me, and we were able to finish cleaning up smoothly. My husband was also touching the baby's cheeks and repeatedly saying how cute she was. I'm glad we got to come here in the end. With these thoughts in mind, I got up from my seat and was about to go into the restroom when I heard the door behind close me. I turned around in surprise to find Anna standing there. Anna? What's wrong? Don't use it. Excuse me? Strangers can't use the restroom here. What? Yes, since you're a stranger, why don't you go outside and find a restroom for you to use?
Outside?
Okay, I understand. Are there any shops nearby here?
Oh, we're in the countryside, you know, so there are no shops nearby.
I see. Then I'll just use your bathtub.
Huh?
Well, as you can imagine, I am a human being too, and doing my business outside the house is just a bit too much, so I thought doing it in the bathtub would be better. I actually once did it in the bathtub, and I was yelled at by my father, but please don't mind me. When I tried to open the door to the bathroom, which was right next to the toilet, Anna desperately tried to stop me.
Oh, Caitlin, what the hell are you thinking?
Oh, it's okay. Restroom and bath is the same thing.
That's not the point here. Please, just get your hands off.
Perhaps Anna's loud voice reached the living room. My husband rushed over.
Mother, what are you doing to Caitlin?
Oh, honey, you know, your mother won't let me use... I didn't do anything.
Huh?
I didn't do anything to her. When we were all just enjoying the time, Caitlin here was about to start cleaning the bathtub all of a sudden, so I just stopped her.
Huh?
Then does that mean that I can use the restroom? What are you even talking about? Of course you can.
What am I talking about?
What? That is my line. She says that I can't use it, but I can use it, so what is the real answer? In the midst of all this, it was Tom who suddenly started to cry loudly. I'm not sure how long he was there, but now Tom was crying right at the front door. Surprised by Tom's voice, Lily and her husband and even my father-in-law gathered right in front of the bathroom, which was close to the front door.
Grandma! Grandma is!
Tom was crying a lot in a serious way, and even I, who has never had a child before, knew that Tom was crying seriously. Lily goes over to comfort Tom, but she also can't get him to stop.
Mommy! Please save Grandma!
Well, this is a bad situation. Save Grandma means I'm the bad guy here. Even I could understand where this was going to. I have done nothing wrong, but it is very difficult to prove it in this situation. And seeing this, Anna did not try to miss the opportunity too.
Oh, Tommy, you're trying to protect me.
You're such a kind boy, Tommy. Thank you.
My goodness, Caitlin.
Maybe you could learn something from Tom here. When we were all having fun and enjoying the time as a one big family, you just tried to clean the bathtub all of a sudden. You really have no sense of being cooperative around here.
Huh?
But Tom continued to cry loudly and desperately plead for help. My sister-in-law Lily soothed him, and when he calmed down, Tom finally told us why he was crying.
Mommy, please save Grandma.
Okay, I will. But from whom shall I save Grandma?
From the devil.
Huh?
If you lie, the devil will take you away, right? Because Grandma lied. So please help her and protect her from the devil.
When Tom finished saying this, he burst into tears and clung to Lily. Then all at once, all our eyes turned to my mother-in-law, Anna.
Oh, Tom, it's okay. What you mean is that
Grandma here told me to not use the restroom because I'm a stranger, right?
Yeah.
And I was told to go to the restroom outside, and Grandma also was the one who said not to use the bathtub too, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry, Grandma will tell the truth. So the devil won't take her away. Right, Anna?
Tommy.
Did I really say that?
Yeah, you did.
I see. I don't really remember, but if I did say it, then I'm sorry, Tommy. I admit then. Then seeing what had happened, Lily instructed her husband to bring the kids upstairs with him. When she saw that they had gone upstairs, she glared right at Anna. I can't believe you made excuses. You're the worst, Mother. I mean, what the heck did you even say to Caitlin? I knew how mean you can be, Mother, but since you took care of our child, I tried to ignore it. But this time, no way. I'm not coming here anymore, so please do keep that in mind. Hey, wait! Then Lily came and hugged me, quickly packed her bags, took her family with her, and left the house.
We won't be coming here anymore either. But first, you should apologize.
Do I need to apologize?
Excuse me?
Because Caitlin is a stranger. She got annoyed by my calls, wasn't she?
Well, yes, duh. Who wants to pick up the phone when all you do is talk shit about other people?
I didn't say anything bad about anyone. I really do hope that the devil takes her away someday. John, you shouldn't be getting carried away like this with her. You do know that Caitlin is a stranger and you're only connected to her through just a piece of paper, right? You just got married and all you do is take your wife's side. How pathetic. That's not how John is. You're a stranger, so you better shut up. I mean, what were you even thinking of doing in someone's bathroom? Well, that's because you told me that I couldn't use the restroom, so that's why I had no choice but to... So I told you to go outside. And I told you that I can't do that.
Oh, Caitlin, I truly apologize for my wife's rudeness. I'm sorry for not apologizing to you earlier.
Oh no, it's not your fault, Jack.
No, it's also my responsibility that Anna became this way. But it seems like I've been pretending too long to not see what was actually going on. You cannot use our restroom too from today.
Sweetie, what the heck are you saying?
You and we are strangers too, and we are only connected through a piece of paper. And this house is my house, so I cannot let a stranger use my restroom.
What the hell? We've been together for more than...
That doesn't matter anymore. From the day we became a husband and a wife, we are supposed to support each other, right? And John did what he was supposed to do to support his wife. He grew up to be a good son who loves his wife. And Caitlin is such a nice, good person. She doesn't even think people's sarcasm and criticism to be a sarcasm or criticism. What you were doing to Caitlin is just completely terrible. I'm just so disappointed in you.
After that, Jack urged my husband and I to go home, and we quickly went back home. And that was the last time I saw Anna, because Jack had divorced Anna. According to my husband, Jack got fed up with the fact that Anna had deeply hurt her grandchild's feelings, how she did nothing but belittle people whenever she had the chance to talk. Anna was never taken by the devil, but actually she was taken to the city office by Jack. I heard that Anna didn't make a fuss at the city office and signed the papers quietly. Lily and John both checked the divorce papers and it looked like they had no objection to the divorce. Jack properly divided the property in two and gave his half to Anna. They got divorced in their 60s. I am told that Anna has returned to her own family home. It seems that Anna begged to see her grandchildren, but that has not happened so far. Lily has decided not to have her kids be with Anna, saying that children should grow up surrounded by nice adults. I completely agree. You wouldn't want your precious kids to be around adults who only speak negative, terrible things. Lily and John might have grown up in such an environment and may have had many bad experiences. Since Anna left, my life has been much calmer. We began to visit Jack from time to time. I was worried about Jack, who now lives alone, and I also heard that Lily and her husband were also worried about that too, and that they too now frequently visit Jack at his house. I thought that Tom, who tried to protect his grandma, was a grandma's little boy, but apparently he was not. He was just trying to help someone who could have been taken away by the devil. He was usually the grandpa's little boy, and he was really close with Jack. It's been 3 months since then, and now I'm pregnant. I want to provide a good environment for my child. Words are words that will eventually come back to me, so I might as well avoid saying anything negative. And I would like to be always at peace. Congratulations on your pregnancy, Caitlin. I hope you have an amazing, healthy life. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. We hope to see you in our next video.
My husband and his mother leaves for a trip, and as a result...
Are you both going somewhere right now? When I said this, the two looked at me while they smirked, as if they had been waiting for me to ask them that question.
We are gonna go travel. My mom and I are going to Guam now.
Excuse me?
Well then, take care of Dad, okay? Bye!
As my husband Matthew said this, he grinned, and Matthew and his mother walked out with their suitcases. I was just too stunned at what was happening, so I couldn't move for a while. Oh, Jack, I am so sorry. Then, my father-in-law, Jack, suddenly got up, rolled up his sleeves, and said this.
Well then, shall we get started?
My name is Kim, and I am 32 years old, working at a company. It's been 10 years now since I graduated from college and started working for the company I began working for. Every day I was busy with work, but I also found it rewarding and I did my best to keep up. And, thanks to my efforts, I am currently in the position of the section manager. I also had a happy event in my personal life. My boyfriend, Matthew, whom I have been going out with for 3 years, had proposed to me. He and I were classmates in college and have always been friends. We kept in touch by going out for drinks regularly, but it never developed into a romantic relationship right away. But we gradually began to feel comfortable with each other and became aware of each other's feelings bit by bit. And we began to go out. And our relationship progressed smoothly, which led to our marriage. It has now been a year since we got married, and we are very comfortable and happy because we know each other very well. Matthew and I both work, but my husband does his share of the house chores so that it won't be just a huge burden on me, and I am able to balance work and personal life. I was happy that I had found a very good husband. My husband also told me that he was very happy to have married the woman he loved, and I thought we would be able to live a happy married life for a long time. But then, something unexpected happened. When I came home from work, my husband had not returned home yet. I had worked overtime that day, so it was around 9 p.m. or so when I got home. I wondered if my husband was also working overtime, but his job requires relatively little overtime, so he rarely stays late until this late. I became a little concerned and sent a text message to my husband. Then, I received a reply back from Matthew, which made me surprised. He told me that my father-in-law, Jack, had fell. I told him I would go to the hospital immediately, but he said it would be okay because Jack's condition was just now calming down, and Jack was sleeping and that my husband was about to leave. As I waited anxiously, my husband returned home a few minutes later. When I asked him about the details, he told me that Jack had fallen down the stairs at home and hit his head hard. He then passed out and was rushed to the hospital. He had a concussion and was in a dangerous condition at one point, but as of now, it seems like the injury is not life-threatening. But my husband did not look happy. Is there something else?
Well, it seems that he injured his spinal cord when he fell down, and he's going to have some after effects because of that.
What?
It seems like he'll probably need nursing care after he gets out of the hospital.
Oh no. Hearing this, I felt sorry for Jack. It must be hard for him to be in such a situation, even though he had just recently retired.
So, you know, I was thinking a little bit about something. I'm thinking of moving in with my mom and dad.
Huh?
I'm worried about Mom being on her own. I think that she'll also feel safer if we are around. So that's why I want to live with them.
Like that, my husband had asked me to live with his parents. It would certainly be difficult for my mother-in-law, Lucy, to take care of Jack, who can't move freely on his own now. After some consideration, I decided to agree with Matthew to live with his parents. When my husband contacted Lucy about what we decided, she seemed pleased as well. So, we moved into my parents-in-law's house and started living together. Oh, Lucy, it's great to see you. We'll be in your care. It's great to see you too, and welcome in. After greeting Lucy, I went to Jack's room. Jack was lying on his bed with only his face turned toward me. Oh, Jack, are you okay?
Welcome, Kim. And I'm okay. I'm sorry to make you worried.
From now on, Matthew and I will be here, so please don't worry about anything.
Oh, thank you. That's very helpful of you both.
Jack smiled gently as he said that and greeted me. But it was still painful for him to be in this situation, and he sounded somewhat sad and less energetic than before. Jack was able to leave the hospital with no issues, but he still has to undergo rehabilitation. But even if he continues rehabilitation, the doctors are not sure if he will recover fully. So that's why maybe Jack is also a little concerned and anxious about his future too. I thought to myself that I would need to take care of Jack's mental health as well. Jack, I will support you in any way I can. If you have any problems or any concerns and worries, please feel free to talk to me anytime. When I said this, Jack replied in a slightly more cheerful voice than before, saying,
Thank you, that's really reassuring.
When I returned from Jack's room to the living room, Lucy called out to me. Oh, Kim, what are you doing? Excuse me? Oh, I was saying hello to Jack. Oh, stop being so lazy. Get on with the cleaning. Huh? Lucy said so as she glared at me with a scary face. I was so startled that I froze. Then, Lucy looked at me and got angry again. What are you doing being lazy? You're so slow at everything. Hurry up and move around. So then, I quickly started to clean up my parents-in-law's house. I didn't even have the time to unpack the things I had brought with me. I had no idea that Lucy was such a scary person. I thought she had been kind to me when she greeted me on our wedding day. But the moment we started living together, she changed her attitude like this. After that, Lucy kept on ordering me and telling me what to do. Cleaning the shower room, the bathtub, and the toilet was a must. She made me do everything from cleaning the room to cooking as well. And Lucy complained to me every time I was cooking. You're so sloppy. I'm hungry. Goodness gracious, did Matthew have to always eat meals like this? Oh, poor Matthew. I couldn't concentrate on cooking because Lucy was always complaining about it non-stop. And when the cooking was finished and everyone was seated at the table, Lucy acted as if she had cooked them all by herself. Oh, I am so sorry to make you wait, Matthew. Eat a lot, okay? There's seconds too if you want them, honey.
Thank you, Mom.
Matthew, you're working very hard at your job, so you definitely need to eat a lot to build up your strength and energy. Lucy then happily watched Matthew eat. I had never met my parents-in-law when we were dating before my husband and I got married, so I never realized it, but apparently Lucy loves Matthew too much. Perhaps it is because Matthew was her only son, but somehow I get the feeling that she wants her son all to herself. Come to think of it, my husband lived at home with his parents all his life until we got married. I'm sure Lucy hates me because she thinks I took her son away from her. It wasn't even my intention to do that, so Lucy thinking that way is a big hassle for me, to be honest. After that, Lucy continued to force me to do house chores, and she just kept on bullying me. She even forced me to take care of Jack. When I came home from work, Lucy forced me to prepare dinner, care for Jack, and clean the house, and I was exhausted literally every single day. And on weekends, I had to do whatever Lucy asked me to do all day long. Since I work during the day, I am unable to take care of Jack. But then Lucy insisted that I pay for a helper out of my earnings. And finally, I could no longer stand this kind of terrible treatment from Lucy, so I decided to talk to my husband about it. Hey, you know, about Lucy, she's being really mean to me lately. Could you maybe also tell her to take it a little easy for me? When I asked my husband about it, he started to say something I never thought he would say.
Why are you blaming Mom? Mom is relying on you as my wife to take care of her. I won't allow you to speak bad about my mom.
I knew that Lucy really loved Matthew, but I had no idea that my husband was also a mama's boy, always taking on his mom's side. I'm not saying anything bad about Lucy. I'm just saying that even though she relies on me, she asks me to do too many things.
Don't you dare think about making everything easy for you. I asked you to support my mom, didn't I?
I then got angry and irritated at the fact that my husband was putting all the burden on me. Then you should also help around too. You haven't done a single thing around the house since we moved into this house. You haven't even taken care of your father, have you? When I said this, my husband made an even more unbelievable statement.
If I do that, my mom will stop me.
What?
Mom says it's the wife's job to take care of the house. Husbands work outside the house to earn money. This is her way of thinking, so I decided to follow her way.
No way!
If you want, I'd even like for you to quit your job and concentrate on the house chores.
I absolutely did not want to do that. I don't want to quit my current job because I enjoy it, and I'm being entrusted with various responsibilities, which makes it considerably more rewarding for me. In the end, my husband did not take my side, but on the contrary, he started to be harsh with me since then.
Hey, are you doing your chores properly? I hope you're not annoying my mom.
Lucy was smiling when she sees my husband being harsh with me. Kim really is a useless wife. Matthew, honey, why don't you just dump this woman?
Huh, you're right. If she's too useless, I'll throw her out sooner or later.
I was absolutely mortified when my husband and Lucy said such things to me. How could they say such heartless words to me as if it was a normal thing to do? I went to Jack's room as if to run away from them and concentrate on caring for him.
Oh, Kim, I am sorry for my rude wife and my foolish son. We had Matthew when we were both old, so that's why my wife is overly caring for Matthew and spoiled him to who he is today. I'll apologize on behalf of the two.
Oh no, it's not your fault, Jack, so please don't worry so much. The only saving grace for me was that Jack was decent. For a while after that, I spent my days taking care of Jack while enduring punishment from my husband and Lucy. It was really tough to be around them both, but still, thinking about Jack, I couldn't take the plunge into divorce right away. Then one day, Lucy and Matthew did something that shocked me. That day was the first day of the new year. I woke up early in the morning and was preparing breakfast. Then, unusually, both Lucy and Matthew woke up early in the morning. Oh, Happy New Year! You're both up early. When I said this to Lucy, she smiled and said, Well, we have to be up early anyways. I wondered if she and Matthew were going somewhere. It was too much hassle to ask for details, so I proceeded to prepare the meal. Then, I saw my husband and Lucy getting ready and already putting on their coats. I thought I had to confirm this, so I asked them, Are you both going somewhere right now? When I said this, the two looked at me while they smirked, as if they had been waiting for me to ask them that question.
We're gonna go travel. My mom and I are going to Guam now.
Excuse me?
Well then, take care of Dad, okay? Bye!
As my husband Matthew said this, he grinned, and Matthew and his mother walked out with their suitcases. I was just too stunned at what was happening, so I couldn't move for a while. I never thought that they would leave me and Jack early into the new year and even go on a trip with just the two of them. That was just unacceptable. Maybe them leaving was good because it'll be a perfect timing for me. I still have a lot of preparations to do, but I just can't take it anymore. I immediately headed to Jack's room. Oh, Jack, I am so sorry. I have something I need to talk to you about. When I talked to Jack, he looked at me and began to say this.
Do you want to divorce Matthew?
What? How did you know this?
I can tell by the look on your face that you've just had enough, Kim. Don't you worry about me. You go on with your life.
Oh, Jack.
Anywho, where is Matthew and Lucy? Did they go somewhere out?
Well, it looks like they went traveling to Guam. Hearing this, Jack was stunned to hear that the two of them had gone on a trip. Then, my father-in-law Jack suddenly got up, rolled up his sleeves, and said this.
Well then, shall we get started?
Huh? Jack, how can you get up like that?
It's all thanks to the rehabilitation, you know. Just recently, I was able to get up on my own with just my upper body. I wanted to tell earlier, but Kim, you seem to be having a hard time, and even if I told Matthew and Lucy, they would probably complain that I shouldn't go to the hospital that much now that I can move a little. So, I was going to tell this only to you when I could move around a little more.
I see.
This way, even with a wheelchair, I'll be able to move around on my own enough. Well then, let's get prepared as soon as possible.
I nodded at Jack and immediately started preparing for the divorce. I got 2 sets of divorce papers and changed the locks on my in-laws' house. And a few days later, Lucy and Matthew came home not knowing what to expect. They didn't seem to open the locks and were trying to force the door open. I had no choice but to unlock the door for them.
Hey, what the hell is going on? Why won't the door unlock?
I calmly replied to my furious husband and Lucy. Well, that's because I changed the locks. I need to talk to you both, so come to the living room. With their faces turning red, I forced them to come to the living room.
Oh, Dad?
What? How are you able to move around in a wheelchair all by yourself? Jack just ignored them and told them to sit there.
What the hell were you two thinking? You both just left Kim to do everything, and now you both just went on a trip. I can no longer tolerate both of your selfishness. I'm divorcing you, Lucy, and I'm cutting ties with you, Matthew. Both of you better leave this house instantly.
When Jack said this, Lucy and Matthew were quite upset. Why must we get a divorce?
Yeah, that's right. Cutting us off is just too much. Be quiet. You two got together and forced Kim to do all the housework and take care of me. And then you complained at her and treated her badly. I will never forgive you both for being that way to Kim.
Lucy and Matthew both flinched at Jack's angry voice. So I took the opportunity and opened my mouth. Matthew, you are having an affair, aren't you? My husband looked nervous when I said that.
Huh? What bullshit is that?
The moment I became suspicious, I immediately had an investigator to check about you. And they took a lot of photos of you being friendly with a woman who's younger and who works at your company. According to what I heard, you're trying to dump me and bring the young woman into this house, huh? I'm not sure, but probably your mom there suggested that idea to you, didn't she? When I said that, both Lucy and Matthew turned completely pale. Most likely, my hypothesis was right on spot. Both of them were so upset after that they couldn't speak properly. Anyway, I'm divorcing you and moving out of this house. I'll definitely claim for alimony from your affair, Matthew, and I'll also claim compensation for the emotional distress I've suffered due to your abusive harassment from you, Lucy.
Oh no.
Lucy and Matthew were both speechless and slumped to the ground. After that, Jack and I successfully divorced our stupid partners. And I was able to get my ex-husband to pay me a hefty amount of alimony. My ex-husband remarried and was caught trying to use the mistress as a convenient housekeeper and was eventually abandoned by her as well. Because Matthew had an affair at work, word spread very quickly within the company, and apparently he is being treated very coldly by his colleagues. And plus, since he and I went to the same college, our mutual friends have also abandoned him, and he is now living alone paying off his debts. And Lucy, who was also abandoned by Jack, is now living a lonely and poor life alone in a small apartment while working part-time. Since Jack no longer needs to support Lucy, he is living alone at his house, using that money towards hiring a helper. Jack has been working hard on his rehabilitation since then, and at this rate, he may be able to walk with a cane bit by bit. I kept in touch regularly with Jack and sent him words of encouragement. In return, Jack has taught me how to behave like a manager at work, and we have a good relationship even though Matthew and I are divorced. I will use the advice Jack gave me and continue to work hard at my job. It was the right decision for Kim and Jack to cut off that mama's boy and that mother who was overly loving her son. I'm also glad that Kim had Jack, who is very decent compared to Matthew and Lucy. I hope Kim will continue to work hard, and this time I hope that she will meet a much better man for her. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. We hope to see you in our next video.
My mother-in-law bullies me every time my husband is gone, so I couldn't take it anymore, and as a result.
Mom, what's so important that you wanted to talk to me about?
Oh, Nick, honey, there's something I want you to see, actually. Saying that, my mother-in-law, Alice, smirked and turned on her computer. And then she began to play a video. And upon seeing that video, I began to realize that this was taken at that time. And I thought to myself that Alice had set me up. I couldn't believe that Alice would do such a terrible, horrible thing like this to me.
What the hell is this?
Nick, my husband, turned all pale. And I looked down depressed, thinking that this is the beginning of the end. My name is Fiona, and I am 27 years old, working in a company. I just recently got married to my boyfriend, Nick, who I had been dating for 10 years. I met Nick when I was a sophomore in high school. At the time, I was popular in my class, and I dressed in a way that anyone would notice me. Many of the girls I was close to also dressed the same, and my friends and I stood out quite a bit when we were talking in a group. Because of this, jocks and guys from the popular group would be all flirty with us. But guys who were just normal and who didn't really belong into any groups did not even try to get close to me. But Nick was different. I think it all started when we sat next to each other. Nick would say hi to me normally and talk to me. And plus, he wouldn't try to talk to me by joking around like how the jocks would do, or he wouldn't be nosy like how some guys in popular groups would do. Nick would just naturally start a conversation with me. So, in a sense, to me at that time, I thought that he was weird. Also, Nick seemed rather relaxed and is the type of person who adjusts to his surroundings, and he has been like that since high school. I was the type of person who wanted to take charge and control within my own pace, so at first I couldn't really understand Nick's personality. Even when everyone in our team had to leave after school, he did everything he could on his own without complaining to get ready for the school event. Since Nick was like that, many other people asked him to do things, and he also accepted their requests, even though he could have refused them. And I got curious, so I asked him one day. I asked him, "If you don't want to do something, why don't you just say you don't want to do it?" Then, to that, Nick said, "What? What do you mean?" So I asked him, "Aren't you being taken advantage of by everyone?" And to that, he replied, "Oh, I never thought about it like that." I was somewhat taken aback and became increasingly curious about him. When I heard a rumor that Nick liked brunettes better, I immediately dyed my hair to brown. Seeing me dye my hair, my friends around me were surprised. But, well, didn't change the fact that my skirt was still short though. Since then, Nick and I began to get along well more, and I had a feeling that we both had mutual feelings for each other. And it was on Valentine's Day that we officially began to go out. Nick had told me shyly that he wanted to eat the chocolate I make on Valentine's Day. So, to tease him, I replied saying, "Okay, I'll make it for everyone in the class." I wondered how Nick would respond to that, but he looked straight at me and said, "No, I want you to make it just for me." He then went on to confess his feelings to me and had asked me to go out with him. When he asked me out, I was so thrilled and excited that my heart felt like it was going to explode. I was very happy and immediately said yes to him. Nick and I have been in love ever since, and after graduating from high school, we both started to work and began living together. Since we both worked, we shared and balanced the house chores without any issues. Then, after 10 years of dating, we finally got married. Since we had lived together for a long time, I thought getting married to him isn't something that new, but I was still somewhat excited to have a newly wedded life. I was excited to start a married life with Nick, and when I saw that my last name had changed, I realized that I was actually married. My husband is as kind as ever, and I feel at ease when I am with him. I am really happy to be married to Nick, but recently there seems to be a little problem. And that was my mother-in-law, Alice.
You're late.
Oh, Alice? What's wrong? How long were you planning to make me wait over here? It's too cold that I thought I was going to freeze to death. Let me in your house quickly. All right. Alice would often come over to our house without giving any prior notice. She starts shouting at me in front of the house, which always makes me nervous that the neighbors might hear Alice screaming. And when I let her in, she would immediately complain. "Well, what a dusty room. You let Nick live in a dirty, dusty place like this?" I'm sorry. It is my husband's responsibility to clean the rooms. But if I tell her that, she might say that she wouldn't want my husband to do the house chores. "Well, anyways, make me a tea, will you?" As soon as she said that, I served the tea to her. Ugh! What is this? It tastes disgusting. Huh? You can't even brew a tea properly? Wow, you really are useless, Fiona. Hurry up and bring snacks that goes with the tea. I had no choice but to put out some candies I had at home. Huh? Candies? Are you kidding me? Well, I've got no choice here. I didn't know you were coming, Alice, so this is all what we have at home. My goodness. Normally, you would have at least some cookies in stock at your house just in case I might come over, right? You really are an inconsiderate, useless wife. Then, saying that, Alice would just say whatever she wants every single time and leaves the house. I thought she was coming to see my husband, but she always leaves right before he comes home. And and she doesn't come only when my husband is at home on his day offs. But I gradually came to understand Alice's intention. In other words, she just wants to bully me. Since she can't do that in front of Nick, she just comes over when I'm alone at home and bullies me and complains to me a lot, then leaves after she feels refreshed. I couldn't really discuss this issue with my husband. I am sure my husband would immediately warn about it to his own mother once I consult him of the issue. But I couldn't really imagine what Alice would do to get back at me after that. So I couldn't talk to my husband about it because I didn't want this to become an even more of a huge hassle than it already was. But for the time being, I told my husband each time Alice came to visit. Alice came over today too.
Oh, I see. Did she need something?
No, nothing in particular. She just had tea and left.
Oh, I see. Well, my mom is always praising you, Fiona. She must really like you.
Oh, is that so? To my surprise, Alice was saying good things about me and praising me in front of Nick. By doing so, I guess she took measures so that my husband would not believe me even if I told on her about her actions toward me. How terrible and rude can she be? I wonder, what's so fun in bullying a person like that? In any case, her bullying did not stop and it continued. Alice, who never got tired of it, came to our house about 3 times a week, abuses me as much as she likes, and leaves with a look of triumph on her face. I was getting more and more stressed out about it. I became very depressed on my way home from work, wondering if Alice would be there today or not. Why should I even be so nervous just to go home to my own house? This state of mind continued, and I finally had enough and couldn't take it anymore. One day, when Alice came over as usual, I had to work a little longer than usual, so I came home a little later. Then, I saw Alice waiting for me with a really angry look on her face. You came home late on purpose, didn't you? No, that's not it. I have to quickly go make dinner, so can you please just go home for today? Huh? How dare you order me around? Just hurry up and let me in your house. As expected, I couldn't have an argument with Alice right in front of the porch, so I let her in anyway. Then I started to cook dinner by just ignoring Alice, but she started nagging at me from the side. Hey, you're supposed to make me a tea first. What a useless wife who never learns. I feel sorry for Nick for having to deal with you as his wife. I think I must have been getting quite frustrated and irritated by Alice at that point. At that moment, my frustration exploded as if a dam had broke. That's it. I've had enough. What is it with you every time? I mean, how much free time do you even have? I'm busy over here doing all the house chores and all. I don't have the time or energy to deal with someone who is as bored as you, Alice. You're not at all any help, and since you're making things worse, could you just please leave? Fiona, why are you saying such terrible things? I'm doing this and saying this for your sake. Then, can't you be at least a little nicer to me? What you are doing is just bullying me. Don't tell me it's for my own good or some other stupid blatant lie. I cannot ever trust you anymore. Please just go home. And with that, Alice ran away all scared. I was absent-minded after that for a while, trying to process what had happened. And just as I realized that about an hour had passed since then, my husband came home.
I'm home.
Oh, welcome home. I'm sorry, I'm still not done with dinner yet.
Oh, is that so? You worked late today?
Yeah, a little bit.
Honey, what's wrong? Did something happen?
Huh? Oh, it's nothing really. I got really tired because of overtime, you know.
I see. Then, let's go out to eat today.
Huh?
Let's go out to a steakhouse. Steakhouse! You get energized if you eat some meat, especially when you're tired.
My husband said that and took me out for a steak. It was a nice change of pace, and it did cheer me up a little. My husband is still the same wonderful man he always was. A week later, my husband and I were suddenly summoned by Alice. We wondered what was going on, but she insisted that we go over, so we headed for my parents-in-law's house. Oh, thank you for coming all the way over here. Well, do come in. My father-in-law was on a business trip and was not home at the time.
Mom, what's so important that you wanted to talk to me about?
Oh, Nick, honey, there's something I want you to see, actually. Saying that, my mother-in-law Alice smirked and turned on her computer. And then she began to play a video. And upon seeing that video, I began to realize that this was taken at that time. It was a recorded video of that time when I was yelling at Alice. It seems like Alice took the video from her phone, which was on the dinner table. Did she actually record the video secretly without me knowing that she was recording? In the video, I saw myself yelling at Alice really angrily. What's worse is that the part where I was telling her to stop bullying me were all edited out of the video, and it's just me being hysterical and abusive to Alice, and her being shocked and saddened by me yelling at her. If anybody sees this video without any context, it would seem as if I was harassing and abusing Alice. And I thought to myself that Alice had set me up. I couldn't believe that Alice would do such a terrible, horrible thing like this to me.
What the hell is this?
Nick, my husband, turned all pale. And I looked down depressed, thinking that this is the beginning of the end. Oh, Nick, honey, this is who Fiona actually is. You should divorce people like her.
Fiona, you...
Oh, is this how it's going to end? Our peaceful married life is going to end like this? Then my husband came right in front of me and suddenly took both of my hands.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for not being able to notice about anything.
Huh?
I had no idea that you were suffering that much. I'm not even qualified to be your husband, honey.
Hey, Nick, what are you even saying? I'm the victim here. She's the one who has been bullying and abusing me.
No, Fiona is not the person who would do such thing. She's very kind and she's an honest person. The only time Fiona gets angry is when someone does something terrible to her. That means you've been doing terrible things to Fiona, right, Mom?
What are you talking about? There's no way that I do such things to her.
Well, Fiona, what about it? Let me hear the truth.
I was being harassed by your mother for a long time. Alice would come over just at the right time when you weren't around, Nick, and she would verbally abuse me as much as she wanted and then just leave. And that video was the day where everything I had been holding back just exploded. And then, by then, I was just sobbing and crying with tears coming down my face.
Fiona, thank you for telling me the truth. I won't let you go through any pain ever again.
Thank you. Hey, Nick, you're being tricked by Fiona, you know.
Mom, that's enough. I can't trust you anymore, Mom. From now on, I'm going to cut ties with you, Mom.
No way.
And about what happened now, I will make sure to tell Father about it. Don't you ever show your face in front of us again.
Oh, no. Alice was so shocked that she fell to her knees. My husband pulled me by the arm and took me home.
Oh, Fiona, I'm so sorry.
No, I was glad you were on my side. I was also happy when you were saying good things about my personality.
What are you talking about? Fiona, you had a kind, straight, and wonderful personality from the very beginning, ever since we met.
Huh?
I love you, Fiona, for who you are.
Wasn't it because I changed my hair color and dressed more normally?
Huh? Oh, no way. I was attracted with your personality and with how you were. Besides, even if you had blonde hair or brown hair, you were still really cute to me.
My husband says shyly like that. I just couldn't help but adore him more and love him more and more. I'm really glad I married Nick. After that, after hearing what happened, my father-in-law gave a huge lecture to Alice, and he had told Alice to work if she has that much time in the world to bully me, and now she is forced to work part-time at a supermarket. But since she had been a housewife all her life, she was slow at learning her job, and she comes home exhausted after being yelled by the manager every single day. Well, Alice deserves what she got. Meanwhile, my husband and I moved out so that Alice would not come over again. Free from the stress caused by Alice, I finally became pregnant and had a baby. Now our family of 3 is living happily every day together. Is it even that fun for a mother-in-law to bully a wife? I mean, after you bully someone, don't you feel guilty at all? Well, I guess not, because Alice doesn't seem to have any normal senses. But still, how could such a wonderful son be born from such a person like Alice? I wonder if his personality is also like his father. I wish I could meet a man like Fiona's husband. At any rate, I hope that Fiona and her family can continue to live happily. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. We hope to see you in our next video.
My husband uses the money which I gave for my mother-in-law on his own, without our permission. As a result,
Melissa? Yes, what is it, Cindy? To be honest, it's actually really difficult for me to say this to you, but you know, I don't even have enough money to support myself. Okay. So, I'm really sorry, but can I stop with giving you the financial support? Huh? Financial support? I live on the pension and I can't really afford to give you any financial support. What do you mean by giving me the financial support? Huh? My name is Melissa, and I am 30 years old, working in a company. I met my husband Caleb through a singles party, and we just got married a year ago. My husband is a kind and funny man, although he can get a little carried away sometimes. And the reason I decided to marry my husband is that because he is very family-oriented.
I want to make sure to look after and reassure my mom. She's getting old, and I'm worried about her, you know. I want to take care of her as much as I can.
When we were dating, I heard my husband talking like that about his mother, and I thought he was a wonderful person. Later, I met my mother-in-law, Cindy, for the first time to inform her about our marriage, and she was a very nice person. Oh, Melissa, thank you so much for accepting Caleb as your husband and being a wife to him. You're such a lovely and nice girl, and you're too good to be with Caleb. Even after Caleb and I got married, Cindy never changed her attitude and treated me kindly. I know it must be hard to do all the house chores while working. Melissa, you can always count on me, you know. Thank you very much, Cindy. You often hear a lot of talks on TVs and radios about issues between the wife and her mother-in-law, but there's no such problem with Cindy and I have never once been mistreated by Cindy. Rather, she takes care of me like her own real daughter. But a little while after we got married, there was something that bothered me a little. It was not about Cindy, but it was about my husband.
I'm exhausted today, so let's go to my mom's and have dinner.
What? Today is your turn to cook dinner, right?
So, I'm saying that I'm exhausted from work and don't want to do anything, so let's go to my mom's.
But won't that be a hassle for Cindy if we go so suddenly without any prior notice?
Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about that. Mom must be lonely too, so it'll be nice for her too to have us over and have a lively dinner all together.
Cindy had lost her husband 3 years ago, and now she lives alone in their house. Her house is a bit large for one person to live alone, and she could certainly get lonely. But isn't it too rude to just visit Cindy out of the blue without saying anything? If it were just my husband, it would be enough, but even I would be intruding Cindy. And if we were going to have dinner with Cindy, she would need to make some preparations. How can my husband even think that it's normal to think that we can go over to Cindy's without any prior notice? Even if we go, we should at least call Cindy to let her know.
What? We don't really have to do that, you know. We're just going back to my parents' house.
To you, it may be that, but to me, I feel like I'm intruding. We have to at least be mindful to Cindy and have manners. When I persisted, my husband said,
Okay.
And while looking really lazy, he picked up the phone and began to call Cindy.
Mom said we could go.
Are you really sure? I really hope she's not just saying that.
Come on, Mom says it's okay, so why not? I think you're worrying too much, honey.
There was no point in wasting any more time arguing with Caleb, so we headed to Cindy's house anyway. Oh, welcome you two. Thank you for coming all the way down here. My mother-in-law greeted us with a huge, gentle smile despite our sudden visit. Well then, hurry up and do come in. I just got it ready now, so please do enjoy it before the meal gets cold. Huh? You cooked that much? Cindy had made several dishes for us and served them to us. When I heard that you two were both coming, I got really enthusiastic, you know.
See, I told you. Mom is really happy that we both came here today.
Even if that is true, it is too inconsiderate of Caleb to even say that in front of her. My husband opened a beer without any hesitation, drank it down, and ate what Cindy had cooked. Well, I'll have some of the dishes you cooked, Cindy. Thank you. No, please do eat a lot. How do you like it? Oh, it's very delicious. How did you make it? Oh, I'm so happy then. Next time, I'll teach you how to cook this. Yay, thank you so much. Because Cindy was always kind, both Caleb and I were able to have dinner that day in a peaceful way. But a few days later, my husband suggested once again that we should go back to Cindy's house for dinner. We went there just the other day. So that's just too much. It'll be a huge hassle.
No, it's fine. I've already called her about it in advance this time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I called Mom yesterday.
Oh, so you were already planning to skip cooking today too?
Oh, don't say it like that, honey. I did do my part in preparing the meal, haven't I?
No, Cindy is the one who is preparing the meal. So practically, you didn't do anything.
So, I'm the one who asked my mom to cook for us today, right? So that means that even though I'm in charge of cooking, making sure that the meal for us is ready is part of my responsibility too, right?
I don't know what the hell Caleb was talking about. Even though Caleb was saying something nonsense, since Cindy had already prepared the meal, I had no choice but to go along with him. Cindy, I'm sorry for disturbing you again when we just came the other day. Oh, what are you talking about? I told you that you can count on me anytime, didn't I? If you're in trouble, don't hesitate to ask me anything, okay? Well, it's not like we're really in any trouble. It's just that my husband is slacking off in cooking and doing house chores, and that's why he's only relying on Cindy for her meals. Thinking like that, I felt very sorry for Cindy. Since then, upon my husband's suggestion, we always went to Cindy's place to ask her to feed us on the days when he was in charge of cooking. Despite that, Cindy always greeted us with a smile and cooked us delicious home-cooked meals. But I felt really bad to ask Cindy to help us out without us doing anything so many times, and that's pretty questionable being adults and all. So, I made a suggestion to my husband. Hey, I'm not going to tell you to stop going to Cindy's, but I think we should at least thank her for cooking meals for us.
Huh? Like what?
I think we should give Cindy some financial support for food, since she's taken care of us so much.
I don't think Mom really cares much about that, though.
No, but I still feel bad. I'll give you some money every month from my salary, so will you give it to Cindy for me? If I give the money directly to Cindy, I am sure that she would be too careful and would not accept it because she's a very kind person like that. So I thought it would be better to give it to her from my husband, who is her son. My husband's eyes widened in surprise, but he said,
Well, if you insist that much, then I understand. I'll take responsibility and give it to Mom.
I was relieved that I could now repay Cindy a little in this way. After that, we continued to eat dinner at Cindy's house, and my husband would say this:
We're eating at Mom's place.
As if it was a normal thing now. We had dinner at Cindy's house about twice a week, and before I knew it, 3 months had passed. Of course, I felt a little bad, but since I know that I also gave Cindy some financial support, maybe I was thinking in a spoiled way. Then, I learned about a shocking fact. It was after dinner one day at Cindy's house.
Phew, I ate very well.
Saying that, my husband had finished eating and was relaxing on the sofa watching TV. I was washing dishes and cleaning up with Cindy. Then, Cindy started talking to me with an awkward look on her face. Melissa? Yes, what is it, Cindy? To be honest, it's actually really difficult for me to say this to you, but, I don't even have enough money to support myself. Okay. So, I'm really sorry, but can I stop with giving you the financial support? Huh? Financial support? I live on pension and I can't really afford to give you any financial support. What do you mean by giving me the financial support? Huh? Well, like I cook you both meals regularly and how I'm giving you financial support regularly. What? I understand that you and Caleb are in trouble, but as you can imagine, I'm starting to feel a little desperate too. Hey, wait a minute. I don't know anything about you giving us financial support. What? Besides, I am giving you financial support every month, aren't I? Huh? I felt bad about you having to take care of us so many times, cooking us amazing meals, so I gave Caleb some money to give to you, Cindy. I haven't received anything from Caleb. What? Then both Cindy and I had realized something. There is only one person we could think of. I had never been pissed off like this ever before. Then I immediately went over to Caleb, who was lying on the sofa. Hey, Caleb! What is the meaning of this?
What? What is it?
My husband seemed to be drunk and he was giggling around. What do you mean, what is it?
What's wrong with you? Shouting at me like that. Did you have an argument with Mom?
I grabbed my husband, who was lying down by his chest, and woke him up.
What is it with you all of a sudden?
We've been getting financial support from Cindy?
What?
And where did you put the money I asked you to give to Cindy?
Well, that's...
My husband is just clamming up, upset, as if he has something to be guilty of.
Just let go of me for now. I feel like I'm going to throw up if you shake me too much.
So I let go of his chest. Will you please explain what exactly is going on?
About what?
Are you trying to act dumb at this point? Cindy seemed to have lost her patience, and she also began questioning Caleb. You told me that you were both in trouble, so I gave you money and even fed you dinner multiple times.
Hey, what the hell? What's wrong with you? Even you're mad at me, Mom.
We have every right to be mad at you. You have been deceiving Cindy and I, you know.
That's a terrible way to say that.
Then, where did our money go to?
Hey, let's just stop talking about this. We've just had Mom's delicious food and now you're spoiling the good mood.
And whose fault is it?
That's...
My husband couldn't say anything back anymore and went silent. You're not going to tell me how you spent the money, are you? All right, fine. Then I have an idea too. Caleb looked at me as if he was asking me what my idea was. I called my sister-in-law, Lila. Lila is very protective of me and takes care of me really well, and my husband is very weak towards Lila. Lila is a strong-willed, independent woman, and when my husband, who has always been a good guy, would get carried away, she makes sure to set things straight for Caleb. When I called Lila and explained the situation quickly, she said she would be here soon. When my husband found out that Lila was coming over, his face turned really pale. Lila lives about a 10-minute drive from Cindy's house, so she came right over. Caleb! What the hell did you do? What did you do with Mom and Melissa's money?
That's...
My husband stubbornly refused to talk even after Lila arrived. This is going to be a long battle. Melissa, you can go home for today. I'll interrogate him all night and make him talk. Thank you very much. I'll be waiting for your update. So, I took Lila's word for it and decided to go home first. The next day, when I went to work as usual, I received a message from Lila. Caleb finally came clean. He's a terrible bastard. Can you come over to Mom's house again after work today? I wondered what it was. I wondered what Caleb did which made Lila describe him like that. So, I went to Cindy's house after work. My husband and Lila was already there. Oh, Melissa, I'm sorry to make you come over again. It's okay. My husband was made to sit on the floor, and his face was turning pale by the minute. Well then, Caleb, why don't you talk to Melissa properly about the truth? I stood right in front of my husband to listen. He was looking down at himself really awkwardly. I can't really understand you if you keep looking down. Please explain to me what's going on.
I'm... so sorry. It was just a spur of the moment kind of thing.
What was?
Well, I had an affair with another woman.
Huh?
I'm really sorry.
So you were cheating on me behind my back?
I guess so.
You're such a bastard.
I'm really sorry.
And? What did you use the money on which Cindy and I gave you? Answer me properly.
For the trip and the date and the hotels for the affair. And the travel fees.
What? A trip? How did you even have the time? Oh. Don't tell me that you're talking about these business trips that you've been having frequently. My husband then nods awkwardly. Wow, I can't believe this. I can't believe that you lied about your job and went on a trip with a woman to have fun.
I'm really, really sorry. It won't happen again, so please forgive me.
Oh, there is no way that I will forgive you. We're getting a divorce. A divorce!
No way. You can't just divorce me. It was a one-time mistake.
Then, before I could get mad at Caleb for what he said, Lila and Cindy snapped. That's enough, Caleb. What you did is absolutely unforgivable. Yeah, that's right. And what do you mean it was just a one-time mistake? When you've been on numerous trips and you've been seeing her secretly many times. Divorce is a must. A wonderful person like Melissa shouldn't be pushed around by such a lousy brother like you, Caleb. You will definitely pay alimony for your affair and the money you stole from Mom and Melissa.
Oh no.
Then, Lila took out the official documents for divorce and handed them to me. She thought that I would need it, so she got it for me at the city hall, as well as a number for a lawyer. I checked the documents and signed the parts I needed to sign and gave it to Caleb. My husband was reluctant, but Lila and Cindy got angry with him again, so he signed it right away. Thus, like this, my divorce from my husband was finalized. Then, through my lawyer, I demanded alimony from Caleb and his mistress. Of course, I also claimed the money I had given to Caleb. I also heard that his mistress was also married, and since her husband is also demanding alimony from Caleb, he is now in huge debt. Currently, Caleb is living at Cindy's house, and both Lila and Cindy manages Caleb's wallet, making sure that he does not waste his money and that it is always used to pay off his debts. Because of this, Caleb only gets $10 every day to go to work, and once he uses the money for his lunch and so on, he won't have any money left. So, he can't even go to bars and afford any luxury, and he has no choice but to go home. Caleb deserves what he got, and it's not at all surprising that he now has to pay back the money he had used, when it wasn't even his money. Caleb is just a low-life scumbag, having an affair based off on other people's money. On the other hand, I live in an apartment now and I am living comfortably on my own. By the way, I still keep in touch with Cindy and Lila, and the three of us sometimes go out to dinner together. My ex-husband is a low-life scumbag, but the only thing I'm grateful to him is for giving me the opportunity to meet Cindy and Lila. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. We hope to see you in our next video.